Greetings and salutations, people. It's your boy DJ Little, the Moses for Salon ENT. Right, so I've just completed a 10 miles run at a very impressive time of 1 hour and 23 minutes. I'm just preparing for the Jerusalem half marathon race, which is coming up on the 28th of March, and it's going to be a virtual run, so I'm not going to be in Jerusalem, by the way, but I would love to. And anyway, also I'm preparing for the 10K run, celebrating a year of lockdown exercise between the partnership of Countdown Community Park Run and CAD HR Working Group. Please make sure you support us on the 10th of April and you support me on the 28th of March for the Jerusalem Half Marathon Virtual Run. Okay, that's it. So I start this conversation by this statement: silence is power. Silence is power. Never complain, never explain. Remember this: never complain, never explain. Hence the reason why I came back and said silence is power. Ultimately, if one stays silent, one can be seen to be very powerful. However, sometimes silence can be perceived as guilt. Silence can be perceived as weakness. Silence can be perceived as having to procrastinate in order to calculate your reaction. So, now everyone is talking about it, and finally we've had the broken silence from the household of Buckingham Palace. So, I might as well share my own views. But guess what? I'm coming from this from a different angle. I want to make a statement directly to you and I. And my statement goes like this. For the record, there are 3 sides to a story. There is never 2 sides to a story. 3 sides to a story. Let me explain to you how and why. Why? Because there's your side, there's my side, and then there is true side. So for those who are faith believers and they are religiously committed, you will know that in any conversation between 2 people, a third party is involved, which is the true side, which is God Almighty, the Creator. But this, I'm not going to make it a religious conversation. For those who are non-faith believers, you can have your own interpretation of the third side. So always remember this. There's still the one side of the story, the other party's side, and the true side, which is down to your interpretation and your assessment as the listener. So my advice is going like this. We must not get too emotionally attached. We have now heard from a very short and a very brief statement from the household of Buckingham Palace. We have heard from Harry and Meghan on the platform of Oprah Winfrey. We have also heard from Thomas Markle, the father of Meghan Markle. So, we've had 3 sides to the story. So, there is a 4th side. The 4th side is the true side. Remember, no party is going to tell the other party's story. They are only going to share their own version of the story. So, the Sussexes will share their story. Thomas Markle has shared his story. We've heard a statement from the household of Buckingham Palace. That's their story. Now, the true side lies the straight line, whether it's gray, whether it's shaded, whether it's bright, between all those stories that we've heard. But if you are a faith believer, then you will know there is the true side. On the question of the big R word, which may have been said or may not have been said, I don't want us to get too emotionally attached. Let's understand in the context at which the R word may have been used. Nobody's going to try and dilute it to make it feel okay. Nobody's going to try and say it was never said. Nobody is going to try and deny that it was said. However, we as the public must not get too emotionally attached. We must try to empathize for all parties. When I say empathy, show empathy to Harry and Meghan, show empathy to the household of Buckingham Palace, show empathy to Thomas Macron, because we have a responsibility as members of the public, as media, as those of us who may have views or no views, to understand that at the bottom of this, there is the true side. And the true side eventually will only lies between that of those who are faith believers, between God and man. So, if I reach there, I will stay silent because I want to remain powerful. Silence is